views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Good morning. Welcome to Expat Insights. I'm your host, Raju Mandhian. Here at Expat Insights, we take external views of the internal successes by foreigners, expats, and immigrants who have made Philippines their home and are doing good in the Philippines, either in business or society. This Friday morning on Expat Insights, we have a guest from the U.S. Embassy, from the U.S. Commercial Section, actually, and he's a senior commercial officer, Mr. Jim McCarthy, and he is here today to talk to us about doing business with America, not selling to America, not outsourcing from America, but buying American-made goods and probably distributing American goods globally. And we'll get insights on how that is being done today and how that can succeed in the coming days and years. So welcome to Expat Insights, Sir McCarthy.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, sir, this is your first time to be in the Philippines.
Yes, it's my first time. I've tried many times to get here in my postings, but I failed.
Yeah.
So I think I saved the best for last. My family and I are very happy to be here.
Right, and there's 4 of you?
There's 4 of us, my wife and 2 sons, yes.
But this is your first visit to the Philippines, or did you ever come to the Philippines in the 60s, 70s?
No, I started my overseas career in 1992 in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, I visited a number of nations in Southeast Asia. But I don't know why, but I never got to Manila. I never got to the Philippines. And that's actually one reason why I really wanted to come, because I hadn't been to the Philippines yet.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was just curious all about it, and the fact that I'd heard good things about the country and its people. We couldn't wait to come, and we're very happy to be here.
What were the good things that you heard about the Philippines in the 90s?
Well, it's just that, first of all, it's attractive for most Americans, including myself, in that we have an English-speaking population, mm-hmm. largely. A population that, or a populace that knows America well. Mm-hmm. Given the interrelationship that we've had over the years and currently. The fact that it's I think Filipinos have a reputation of just being nice, gracious people, and we've found that to be absolutely true since we've been here, and like I said, we're happy to be here. It's just been a dream in a way to be here, to sense all of the beauty that's in Manila, both in the landscape and the people.
And in the months that you have been here, what has been your most exciting experience? Most fun experience?
Well, we've been to Bohol,
right?
Which we've very much enjoyed. Mm-hmm. The scenery and the chocolate hills and all that. But we haven't traveled as much as I would have liked. I was just in Cebu. Mm-hmm. Actually, most exciting experience is that I had surgery here, and I don't know that we want to go into that. But that's in a way that's been my most exciting experience. Not on the necessarily good side, but it turned out well.
All right. So now tell us about the mission that you are on in this country. You are here to do something, and what is that, sir?
Well, I'm here to promote U.S. products,
yeah.
U.S. exports of goods and services.
Yeah.
So that could mean everything except, by the way, food and beverage. We have another section for that.
Yeah.
So whether it's nuts and bolts to tourism to consulting services, we help all companies, large and small, try to export to the Philippines. Now that can also mean franchising, which is a service.
Yeah.
It can also mean a number of other things that actually end up being a business that's located here. Mm-hmm. But involves a U.S. export. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we help a lot of companies that are small and medium-sized, that don't have the capability of having people on the ground to set up appointments, to do research, to do everything they need to do to find a partner here mm-hmm. in the Philippines. We do all that.
Yeah.
And we have a number of programs to accomplish that.
How long have you been at it, or how long has your department been at it?
Well, our department was created, the Foreign Commercial Service, actually, we go by the name Commercial Service,
Yeah.
has been in existence since 1980. So we have operations in 70 countries around the world with about 240 Americans. We're supported by local staff wherever we go. We have 2 officers here, including myself, and 13 staff, very, very, very good staff that really help us and have the knowledge and experience to help American companies. So I've been here about a year. I'm
Yeah.
here on a 4-year posting, so I've got
Yeah.
3 to go.
1980 was the term of Ronald Reagan.
Right.
And so what drove that administration to create this body? Was
Well,
there any economic
the
need?
Commercial Service actually used to be a part of the State Department.
Right.
And at the time, and I wasn't present at the creation, so I can't say exactly what happened, but it was decided that it was logical and sensible for the Department of Commerce to have that role instead of the Department of State. So it really kind of grew out of that. It existed, but as part of the Department of State. It was simply transferred over to the Department of Commerce.
And so what is your strategy? I mean, globally and Philippines, what are you doing? How do you market yourself? What are your day-to-day activities in promoting this?
Well, in the United States, we have offices in nearly every state.
Yeah.
So if a company from the U.S. is interested in exporting, all they have to do is go to one of our, what we call export assistance centers. And like I said, there's usually one nearby. We have several in California,
Yeah.
of course, that being our most populous state.
Yeah.
So if a company is starting from the very scratch, from the very start,
In the U.S.
in the U.S.,
Yeah.
and they need to come. Now, we're on the receiving end of that. So if a company is definitely interested in the Philippines, they usually find us through one of those offices,
Yeah.
or they might find us on the internet directly because we have a website, www.buyusa.gov. They come to us. Basically, they might say, we've got a certain product or service. Do you think there's a market? If you think there's a market, can you help me? And then we go about actually through phone calls, through video conferencing, whatever it takes. We will sit down, talk to them for about an hour,
Yeah.
give them our honest assessment about whether we think there's a potential in the
Yeah.
Philippines.
Is there any cost to the business?
Not at
Oh.
the very start,
Yeah.
but if, say, a company is coming to us and says they want us to set up appointments for them,
Right.
there is a cost, because one of the things that we do, we're an agency that operates probably more like a business than most parts of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
We do charge for our services, and we are judged on our results. So we have to, whatever we do, should end up being what we
So
call an
you're
export
funded
success.
and you have to generate an income at the same time.
Yeah, we're funded by, of course,
Yeah.
authorization out of the U.S. Congress.
Yeah.
But we have to have a fee for most of what we do, not all of what we do, in terms of what we call the appointment schedules that I was just talking about, where a company will come to us and say, we need appointments for potential partners or agents. We'll do all that. We'll go with them on all the meetings, but we charge for it. And it's done on a kind of a sliding scale, higher for large companies, smaller for small companies.
So today, with the Philippines, where do the opportunities lie? What products, in which sectors or industries do opportunities lie for Filipino importers, or at least American manufacturers to work with Philippines?
Well, first of all, we see a lot of opportunities in the
Yeah.
Philippines.
Yeah.
The growth rate here is
Yeah.
6-7%.
Yeah.
That's really part of what's drawing American companies here. So they see that, and we see a lot of opportunities in IT, medical technologies, construction, infrastructure, aviation, security, franchising.
Yeah.
A number of different sectors that we think offer good opportunities. Now, we have another part of the embassy, that handles food and beverage.
Right.
And that actually, and I'd encourage you to have them on eventually.
Yeah.
They handle all of that opportunities, and that actually, in terms of the Philippines, in terms of the world markets, the Philippines is in the top 10
As a buyer.
as
a
a
buying
buyer.
country.
And of course, that kind of goes both ways.
Yeah.
The Philippines also sells
Right.
agricultural products, but
Yeah. when
when you think of it, a country of just 100 million is is in the top 10 markets for
Yeah.
food and beverage for all American, for our exporters. It's really an astounding, acknowledgement.
Position
of
for
potential.
them, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, so what has been the success rate of all the other products besides F&B, or you for your department in the Philippines?
Well, the success rate is often hard to judge.
Yeah.
As, it often takes 2 to 3 years from the time that we're helping a company to when they finally get success rate. And we don't guarantee success. I can't give you a percentage. I don't know what the percentage is. Last year we recorded, 100 what we call export successes.
100.
Export successes.
These are singular transactions.
Singular transactions, or it could be a case where a U.S. company signs an agreement with a local partner.
Yeah.
So that counts also as an export success. Sometimes it involves a sale, sometimes not.
Yeah. So any specific area that has been successful in these 100 transactions?
It really is.
Besides IT and the call center business?
Well, the call center business is not
Not
part
part
of
of
what we
your
do
process,
because
okay.
that's business outsourcing.
Yeah.
Certainly that's something where, that we have knowledge of and track for our section in terms of IT.
Yes, sir.
Franchising has been huge. The one thing that's astounded me is, since I've been here, is that I see Starbucks on every corner, it seems like. We've got McDonald's, we've got Burger King, but we've got a number of companies that are looking to come in that regard. If you go over to, and this is not an advertisement, if you go over to Cold Stone Creamery in the Fort.
Yeah, that's an American company?
That's an American company out of Arizona.
Yeah.
That we helped them find the local partner, and then they just opened up their first store, I think, a couple of months ago.
It's an ice cream shop?
It's an ice cream shop. Excellent ice cream.
Okay.
Excellent ice cream. I had it. I opened it.
And it beats Ben & Jerry's.
I'm not going to say that. you make that call.
All right, sir. Let's take a little break.
Okay.
Yeah? And then after the break, we'll come back and we'll talk to you about trade laws, tariffs if any, and then what has been the impact of WTO and the foreign currency, the exchange rates today.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll take a little break and we'll come back and talk to Mr. McCarthy about the bigger picture of the trade side between Philippines and America. I'm your host, Raju Mandian. Stay watching. This is Expat Insights. Good morning. Welcome back to Expat Insights. I'm your host, Raju Mandian, and we are talking to the Senior Commercial Officer of the U.S. Embassy, Mr. Jim McCarthy, and we are talking about doing business with America. And he just gave us, just about his advent into the Philippines. So, sir, now, laws on trading with America, laws on bringing in goods from America. What's the paperwork? What kind of partnerships are created to do this?
Well, I mean, it's a normal business transaction. I mean,
Yeah.
when you have a U.S. company looking to do business here, they're looking at the company's reputation, their ability to pay on time,
Yeah,
things of that nature. What we're very transactional based.
yeah,
We're not into government policy or anything like that. We're
Yeah.
really looking at how we can get company A in the U.S. and company B in the Philippines together, and to have it be successful, a partnership, because we don't want something that's going to break up in a few years. So as a U.S. company looks here, they're looking at, particularly, regulations that the Filipino government might have
on the import side.
on the import side.
Yeah.
It could be labeling, could be regulations. If you had, for example, medical product, Department of Health will have regulations that a U.S. company has to adhere to. That's why it's important to actually have a local partner, because we can help to a certain degree, and we do help. But a local partner who has knowledge of those standards, has knowledge of the policy, the procurement practices of the Filipino government, that's where, they come in. We can do so much. I mean, we're helping hundreds of companies a year. But when you have a local partner that actually helps to go through all of the paperwork, that's invaluable for a U.S. company and somebody that they can rely on. And it's ethical. Because for a U.S. company, they need to have somebody that is above board,
Yeah.
that is not into bribery or corruption, because all U.S. companies have to subscribe or adhere to the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act
Out of the U.S.
out of the U.S.
Yeah.
And I think Filipino companies generally know that. But U.S. companies not only take that FCPA, or Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, and they raise it to a higher level. Just because the reputation of the U.S. company is about, the most important priority
there
that
were
they have.
so many cases of trade with Bangladesh, with Latin American countries in the past, and of course with China, that were an issue in terms of ethics before.
Yeah.
When you were importing, when U.S. was a buying country.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more of the outsourcing side, I think, when they're sourcing from those countries. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about competitiveness in terms of pricing? Today China is the factory to the world, or at least it was in the last couple of decades. No? So what is America doing about becoming price competitive? Quality is not an issue, of course, but price still is.
Well, quality is an issue if you take a look
No,
at
I mean,
it.
it takes a lead in quality. It does,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could have somebody here from another country that says they're the highest
Oh,
quality.
yeah, there are. Okay.
and they wouldn't be doing their job if they didn't do that.
Right.
But you are paying a little higher price for quality. And if it's coming from the U.S., you've got higher shipping costs. You've got the VAT usually here, the value-added tax.
Yeah.
You could have a tariff rate of 10 to 15%, so already you're marking up your product by 25%. Now, some U.S. companies will locate the regional centers here and ship out of, say, Malaysia or China, things of that nature. We still want them to have U.S. content. The final product doesn't necessarily have to be 100% U.S. content.
Oh, so the
If
cheap
it goes
value.
to China and assembled there,
Yeah.
that's not what we want, because what we're really all about under the President's National Export Initiative is to create jobs in the United States.
Right.
But there are times and there are cases where a company will, ship to or export parts that will be assembled in another country and then shipped onward to, say, the Philippines.
As long as there is the value add is, the chief value add is American, or is the design or the IPP American?
The higher value part of it is
The cheap
usually
value,
American.
yeah.
And I'm making a very general
Yeah.
statement here. It can vary from time to time. But actually, the general tendency now, or not the general tendency, but the tendency has been for a lot of U.S. companies to take back the production from China because they still feel it would be cheaper. The wages being in China now going up, the efficiency in the United States also going up to take care of that,
Yeah.
that price difference. So, like I said, there are varying methods and approaches that U.S. companies have. Some will want to locate closer to the source. Others feel that they can do it out of the U.S.
In the past decades, many countries which were developing, including China, including Philippines, when we were exporting, there were incentives provided by government. Either they were cash incentives or rebates or some kind of convenience in terms of labor, wages, utilities. So our American companies who are exporting get any benefits?
Well, we actually have a new program that just started, and it's called the STEP program that helps exporters pay for part of the costs of doing business here in the Philippines and all around the world. So, for example, we've had trade missions this year from states of Iowa and Utah. We had one called the Trade Winds Mission, which is multi-sector. And in all of those companies, nearly all of them, use these STEP grants, which help pay for the services that we provide and a number of other costs. These are small and medium-sized companies that need this help, because otherwise the cost of looking into a market, even just looking into a market, can be prohibitive. For companies, everybody thinks of a U.S. company as being these behemoths, these conglomerates, but there are a number of companies that we want to see get more involved. We want to expand our export base. Again, all over the world, not just the Philippines. So they need our help in doing that.
What are a few examples of small and medium American companies or manufacturing companies? What are products that come out of America but are unknown to the world?
Well, there are companies in the renewable energy side, for example, and we had a few companies, 7 or 8 companies come last year, and doing smart grid work, doing biomass, doing a number of different energy,
They've set up shop here?
They haven't yet because, again, it takes a while to get that done. But yes, there are a number that are certainly looking at the market for the reasons that I stated, that this is a very attractive market in terms of population, in terms of the growth rate, in terms of the English-speaking capability, which makes American companies feel a little bit more at ease.
So if Filipino importers or business people or trade houses which wanted to do business with America, where would they go? What states would they go for what products? Where would be the opportunities?
Well, it's not going to specific states for specific products.
Yeah.
If a company here or even an individual says, gee, we don't have a particular type of shoe that we'd like to have from the United States, that maybe they heard from their cousin or a relative that says, you guys really ought to have this kind of shoe here in the Philippines, they can come to us and we'll find it for them. We'll put out what's called a trade lead. And that'll go to all of our offices in the States. And, usually we get, good responses, coming back to us in terms of responding to that need or that inquiry.
So of the 50 states, even though there may be indigenous products to the states which are where they are good at, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter to us at all.
To you doesn't matter.
No, I mean, actually, in many ways, we can't favor states. Can't
I know,
favor Alaska over Hawaii.
No,
for
like
example.
I know, coming from India, if I need to go for medium quality machinery products, etc., I go to the north. If I need to go for innovative products, I go south. If I go services, so where does one go?
Well, this is very general, but say if you were in the energy field, you might look at Texas. Or solar panels, they might be in California. But, there wouldn't be any reason to exclusively look at those two states for those two sectors.
So it'd still be one gateway to go to America.
Yeah, I mean, it really, like I said, that's why we have offices in nearly every state. And that's because you just never know what company is going to walk in your door and what they're going to offer and where they want to go. So, I mean, you could have a solar panel company in New Jersey, which is not exactly where you'd think it was going to be, but still it's something that we would be responding to.
What has been your biggest success in the last few years in the Philippines or in any other state? Any big partnership that you might have succeeded with?
Well, we mentioned Coldstone before. Another one that we helped with is Harley-Davidson, the motorcycles.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They're here?
They're here. They
As in they're going to put up a retail outlet, or they're going to put up a map?
They have one already along EDSA. It's something that it's, I believe, with our company that also offers Jeep and Mercedes-Benz.
But wholly manufactured in the U.S.?
Wholly manufactured in the U.S.
Nothing done to add Filipino value to it?
No.
Wow.
No, you go along EDSA, I don't have the exact address.
Yeah, I think I heard about it, but I've not seen it yet.
Yeah, they opened up the Great Fanfare in February, and, that's an American icon.
I know. I mean, it's not huge volume, but it's definitely...
Not a huge volume, but...
It is the flag of America.
That's right. I mean, if there's a company, there's a number of companies, but Harley-Davidson would be one of those that really carry the American branding with them.
So what else is happening for you in the Philippines in the last year? Any events, missions?
As I mentioned, we had the state of Iowa come out on an agricultural and non-agricultural mission.
Yeah.
That was in February. We had what's called the Trade Winds. That's really a special program that we have.
Yeah.
That goes to the Asia in general. Last year, they came to the Philippines and went to Korea. The popularity that we had for that was astounding.
The one from Iowa?
No, the one for the Trade Winds.
Yeah.
We had 2 days of meetings. We had 65 companies come in.
From the U.S.?
From the Philippines.
Yeah, attending.
We had about 7 U.S. companies.
Yeah.
They had 65 meetings in total, which we were the highest in the region with Hong Kong and Korea and Japan.
Yeah.
We had actually got more meetings here for U.S. companies than nearly anybody in the region. And that really kind of put us on the map, at least, you know, for U.S.
What is
companies.
the buzz around? What are people saying about the business people? What are they saying about the products, pricing?
It's an easier, not an easier sell because nothing's ever easy, but
Yeah.
it's a matter of you know, an understanding. I think there's a level of sophistication here about how Americans do business. There's no kind of cutting through cultural
I know,
problems or
yeah,
issues.
yeah.
A little bit. I mean, there always is, but
Yeah.
it's a little bit more familiar here than it would be in another country that
Yeah.
you know doesn't have that
Yeah.
familiarization with the U.S. So
Yeah.
it's, and we had this with trade winds. It was a multi-sector. They were various, everything from vitamin supplements to, again, energy. We've got a mission. We had just had the state of Utah here with 6 companies, 3 in medical, in the medical field, 2 in what we call education and training, and 1 that actually offers wines not out of Utah, but in this case, California. Again, they went away very happy with the substance and of their meetings. We hope that actually yields something. We also, by the way, had one of the things we do is promote tourism to the United States.
Yeah.
So we took an investment into the United States. So we had 2 sessions with the state of Utah that did just that. And Utah is an incredibly beautiful state. I don't think most people know, you know, just how incredibly beautiful it is.
Yeah.
And so we had a session for about 25, 30 travel agents in the media about, you know, how, you know, what Utah has to offer in terms of tourism, the national monuments, parks, skiing, and everything else.
Isn't that the one with the monuments of the former presidents of the state of
No,
Utah?
no, that's, I think, North Dakota.
That's
This has, in the south of Utah, in fact, they had a video where a lot of Western movies, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, John Wayne movies,
Right,
Louise.
the old cowboy movies, yeah.
Yeah, they're all made in southern Utah, and you know, if you watch enough movies, you'd probably see them
Which
over,
one, yeah?
over and over again.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we do that, and later on, we have in September we have an energy efficiency, and environment mission where it'll be, we hope, about 15 to 20 companies. And then in October we have a mission where we're promoting U.S. education. So we'll have
that sounds interesting.
that's between
Yeah.
20 and 40 universities come over and do a fair.
I'd like to be present there.
Well,
October.
we'll get you. You'll be first on the list, Roger.
Sir, yeah, Filipino companies, trade houses, or manufacturing, or whoever wants to put up business in the Philippines, what are your ideas? What are your recommendations for them? Like, I want to do business in America, with America, not in America, but with America. What steps do I take? Yeah, what are my first moves? Do I go for trade missions, or do I travel to the U.S.? How do I go about it? And where do I look for pockets of opportunities as a Filipino business person?
Well, there's any number of ways. I mean,
Yeah.
again, they can come to us, but
Yeah.
a lot of Filipino companies go straight to trade shows in the States.
Yeah.
They go to trade shows I've never heard of, and that they're telling me about. You know, so a lot of them do that. A lot of it's on the internet.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, when I meet a company, whether it's Filipino or U.S., I said, you know, how did you
Get about this.
How did you
how
get
this
together?
happen? Yeah.
Because it helps me understand how the market is done and how business is done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's done any number of those ways.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is driven by, you know, the Filipino company going to the U.S., maybe just searching online. And then
Right.
the U.S. company gets the, you know, the inquiry
Yeah.
and just, you know, goes with it on a one-time sale
Yeah.
until they have the confidence of knowing that they'll, you know, they'll be paid and that for the Filipino company know that the product will be delivered. So there's any number of ways. There's no one set way. Trade shows are very popular, though.
So there was one question on my mind, you know, is given the fact that the presence of the net and the fact that information of any kind is accessible at the touch of fingertips, no? So how does that justify the presence of a department like yours? I'm just wondering, because there was time that there were middlemen.
Yeah.
Whether they were for profit or whether they were funded by the government, a lot of these middlemen have disappeared in the last decade or so because of the presence of internet. So how do you still survive given the fact that, hey, if I need a pair of scissors out of a certain American state, all I have to do is go look online, and bang, it's there.
Now, you know, that's true to
Yeah,
a certain
yeah,
extent.
yeah,
But
it's huge.
business is face-to-face. You get right down to it. Business is face-to-face. If you want a long-term relationship,
Yeah.
You want to talk to that person directly. Now, you could do that yourself.
No, but usually it is the search, it's the prospecting that's very expensive. It's not the
For
conversation.
the local company.
For any company from across the world, or when I was doing business in the U.S., it was really hard for me to find clients. Today, it is easy. If I need to provide a certain service, all I have to do is the list pops up. So what I'm saying is that the opportunity for a middle agency has become lesser. How are you mitigating
Well,
that?
say, for example, you are here in Manila,
Yeah.
and you want to locate the scissors.
Yeah.
You want to be able to know that the company that you're dealing with on the other end of the line is actually going to deliver the scissors in the way, shape, and form that you want them. Now, you come to us and say, have you ever heard of company ABC, that is offering these scissors?
Yeah.
We can add that confidence and say, yes, ABC is a good company. Not only that, but if you not only need scissors, but you need staples, you need paper clips.
So a little bit deeper, broader, in the fact that they are legit and ethical.
And all of our centers and the export assistance centers, they know their clients. They know that they can deliver, and because of that makes all the difference in the world. Because if you want a long-lasting relationship, you want to be able to have the trust and confidence that, in both sides, not just here, but also in the U.S., that the company can deliver to the U.S. That's got to be the confidence for the Filipino side, and that for the U.S. company, that the Filipino company will actually be able to pay and pay it on time.
For me, as a former tradesperson and former business person, it is exciting a thought that now America is competitive. I can go and get American goods and use them in the rest of the world. Unlike, in the last so many decades, things were getting worse in quality. All you had was so many consumer goods that were bad for ecology, bad for now I'm happy about that, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question to you, this is, let's say, make a hypothetical question. You are not a business person yourself, you've been with the woman for a long time. If you were to decide to go into business today out of the Philippines, and work with America, what industry would you go into and what would you do?
Well, I think you have to have a
small-
strategy about what industry you are going to go into, where you see
Sorry?
the opportunity. I said, I think you need to know.
Yeah.
You got to have some concept or idea.
Have you seen that inside? Have you had that? Have you wondered that maybe I can make money out of this
You mean for a local company?
for yourself? Yeah.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, from time to time. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're asking me right off the bat right now, I don't think I can think
You
of
never
it.
thought of it, yeah.
But I do see opportunities for what I mentioned, education and training.
Yeah.
You now have an education system that's changing from K to 10 to K to through 12. I'd see an opportunity there if I were here.
Right.
Because I have children, I look at children's education in training, to help them, whatever income they have to rise. I have my favorite franchises in the States. I'd love to see them here. And
Which is?
I can't endorse. I can't.
Okay, you can't.
No.
All right.
No, but
Okay.
I'll tell you offline. But
Okay, after the
they're
show.
well known, and
All right.
I'd love to see them here if I had the opportunity. Again, I've been here a year. You ask me in a couple of years' time, I'll probably have a better idea as to what I think would work here. Right now it's just not something that's coming to me right off the bat. But those would be two areas. I also think there's opportunities in smart grid and energy efficiency. I really do. I think
Those are big areas.
as I see these buildings going up, I just think that there's great opportunity. And, you're here in the Philippines. You can see that and feel that you have high electricity rates.
So much building and development.
So much building, but it's also high electricity rates that you need to save wherever you can. So, I'd also be looking at that.
All right, sir. So thank you very much for being on Expat Insights.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
So if there's anything you still want to promote or plug, or maybe I forgot to ask you on behalf of your department, this is your moment. Otherwise, we'll just wrap up. Yeah. This is
I'm on
something
the
that-
spot here.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
but I would just encourage people. They can contact me directly.
Yeah.
I'm at james.mccarthy.
Yeah.
McCarthy is MCCARTHY at trade.gov. Please send me whatever inquiries you have.
Yeah.
We also have on our website, we have a Business Philippines at state.gov.
Yeah. We'll show that on the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any inquiries that you have from that, again, go to our website. It's right there. we're happy to take on all comers and any inquiries that come our way.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, and we'll see. You have 2 trade shows coming up. You said one
Two
is
trade
education,
missions, yeah.
and that's in October, and the other
One in September, one in October.
Wow. All right, so that's where they'll find it. So okay, that's it. That was Dr. That was.
You can call me
Mr.
doctor.
I can call you doctor. That was Jim McCarthy, the Senior Commercial Officer of U.S. Embassy. I'm your host, Raju Mandian. Thank you for watching Expat Insight, and we'll see you next week. Have a happy weekend. Good night.